Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you. We can see you.
I prefer you didn't see me.
You look all right, man. Hey,
All
I had
right.
a mustache. I had a mustache this morning, and I'm just like the kids and everything, and I'm in the shower, and like I forgot what I was doing, and I just shaved everything off, and now I feel weird. Yeah.
I haven't had hair in 3 years, and we're going no shave of the head until this thing's over. So,
There you go. Yeah,
yep.
I like it. Okay, everybody. So this is fun. So we have bounced around today from South Dakota to Texas to California. Now here we are in North Carolina, joined by UNC Asheville head coach Scott Friedholm. Thanks for joining us today, man.
Brian, thanks for having me. This is awesome. Love talking
Yeah,
baseball and love talking about Easton too.
that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. So let's tell everybody a little bit about your story. You've led the Bulldogs to 96 wins over the past 6 seasons as a head coach. Uh, Last 3 seasons, you've been to 2 Big South Conference tournaments. You spent a lot of time as an assistant coach in your career waiting for that head coaching gig. 16 seasons up at Bryant, Maine, Navy in Annapolis, and Boston College. So you've bounced around all over that New England, East Coast area. And it's a grind, man, and you made it. So tell everyone what it takes to become a head coach. It's not easy.
Well, one, it takes a lot of support and a patient wife to let you kind of chase your dream, and she would follow you wherever you go. So I want to thank her first, but never really felt the need to be a head coach. Really enjoyed being an assistant coach, and I was fortunate to work under some great people. And at University of Maine and at Providence, it was actually, or at the Naval Academy, it was actually the guy I played for at Providence College. So he had known me since I was 17 years old. Played for him and then coached for him for 9 years. So, and actually just got off the phone with him before I got on the phone here with you. So
Nice.
I'm still in great contact with him. And actually, ironically, got off the phone with the head coach at Bryant. So we still stay in great contact with each other. So, people say it's a grind. I say it's the exact opposite. If it's a grind if you don't enjoy what you do. I sometimes get a little frustrated when people say it's a grind to recruit, it's a grind to be here. It shouldn't be. Not if you enjoy what you're doing. And really, are we considering watching a baseball game a grind? We get to be outside, hopefully watching good baseball. It does get a little tiresome when it's not very good baseball, but I would never say it's a grind. And when UNC Asheville gave me the opportunity to be the head coach here, it kind of checked off a lot of boxes that I was looking for as far as academics, the league that we play in, and the location that we are currently here. So it was kind of a no-brainer to leave. It was hard to leave Boston College, but it was a no-brainer to do it as well. I really enjoyed Mike Gambino and working with Mike and building that program. But a chance to come down south, live in a great city, and be a part of the Big South at a high academic university was a no-brainer for me.
Dude, I love that perspective. You a little bit blew my mind right there with the grind thing, 180, and I just love that. So I think the people watching out there, boy, I am now going to have a new perspective on it because I love it too. It's not a grind if you
Yeah.
love it, right?
No, it was funny. I was talking to Breezy, or Chris Bresnahan, who was our assistant coach, and I beg him to get me out on the road at all times. Just, hey, I'll go watch a game. I'll go see a game, because that's the part as head coach, me personally, that I miss the most right now. I enjoy that quote unquote hunt, or that it's a competition for me as well. Trying to steal a player or grab a player that no one else likes, and you see something in them that you like. So I really enjoy that part of the game, and it's crazy, but the summer's a fun part. I mean, we're on the hunt all the time to try to find that guy that's going to help your program, and doing the homework to make sure he's the right person, the right competitor, everything that you look for, and calling the high school coaches, calling the ADs, calling everyone associated with that player to get as much background as you can, because in the end, that's all you can do. I mean, you're not going to know who he is as a player or a competitor until he actually steps foot and gets into the mud with you. But you got to do your homework and have an idea of what you're getting before he gets on campus.
Absolutely. And so I'm going way off like my topic list of what I had
to
ask
let's
you
do
about.
it.
But so when I think about D1 baseball, I think there's 288 teams, and there's less now because some are getting banged. But
yeah,
East Coast, the majority of the schools are on the East Coast. So you're talking about that competition. You're out looking at a player with 150, 200 other schools, to whereas the West Coast, there's like 50 schools out here. So it's way different.
Yeah. And listen, when I was at the Naval Academy, I recruited on the West Coast. And when I was at BC, I recruited a little bit on the West Coast. And not to take anything away from the West Coast teams. They're, I mean, some of the best in the country. But you're right, there aren't as many of them. Where, I mean, in the state of North Carolina alone, there's 17 Division I schools.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. So
crazy.
it's a constant battle. It's making sure that we're always following up with the kid, the families, the little touches that really players like. A handwritten note can go a long way to a player that
Sure.
Kids don't get anything in the mail anymore. And all of a sudden just a handwritten note of saying, hey, great to see you the other day, or it was great talking to you on the phone. Can't wait to get you up on campus for a basketball game or whatever it may be. So we try to do those little things because we may not be, for a lack of a better phrase, we may not be the sexiest school in North Carolina to come to right now. But we are trying to get ourselves in line with all those other schools and with facilities. But I will say what we can compete with is our academics and our location, and then hopefully our coaching staff, Kyle Ward, Chris Bresnahan, Brad Giroux, they sell themselves. So if we can get a guy up on campus and really sit down and talk with the family, we have a pretty good shot.
It's so important, isn't it? Relationships in this entire thing it's so huge.
And sometimes, as we're all seeing now, it comes full circle. Kids come, make a decision to go somewhere else, may not work out for one reason or another. All of a sudden it's, hey, we really felt comfortable. UNC Asheville wasn't the sexy name at the time. I was only a sophomore when I committed. Would you have any interest in me coming back to your program? So, as my dad once said, and I won't use the language, but be careful whose asses you kick on the way up because you're going to be kissing them on the way down. So, always treat people the right way. So, excuse my language on the
That's
phrase
all
here.
good. It's all good. It's a great point. Great point. So here's a question that I often wonder. Like, at what age do players start reaching out to coaches, or what? Like, when should they? 8th grade, 9th, 10th, 11th? Like, when is it?
When they're ready. Because, and I say that because it gets hectic for them. And the reason when it gets hectic is because colleges put pressure on kids, and they don't care whether it's 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. I think it's whenever that player is ready to make a decision. If he's ready to make a decision as a sophomore, then he should be able to, be mature enough to go into that office and say, this is where I want to go, and I'm not going to look anywhere else.
Yeah.
But, sometimes there's pressure from outside sources, parents, the travel ball team that he plays for, whatever it may be, adds pressure. And sometimes kids are forced to make a decision before they're ready. And I truly believe that's why a lot of kids transfer nowadays, because they made a decision because it was right for everyone else other than themselves. And all of a sudden, when it gets hard at X school, UNC Asheville, when it gets hard, instead of trying to stick it out and say, this is where I want to be and I'm going to stick it out and grind it, they decide, let's see if there's something easier on the other side. And it normally isn't. It's just a different school and they get a fresh start. But they're going to realize it's the same situation. It just has a different name on it.
Yeah, you got that. It's so important to find your own fit wherever that may be. I talk to a lot of kids. I go do demos at schools, and they ask me stuff, and I'm like, there's so many schools in the country, thousands of baseball programs. You can find the right one.
And nowadays, everybody knows this. No matter where you go, you're going to be seen. If you have a guy that throws 95, 96, there's going to be 20 scouts every single game he throws at.
Yeah.
If you have a third baseman that's got 10 home runs through 25 games, there's going to be a lot of scouts showing up to watch him play all of a sudden. So, it's about finding the right fit. And we always talk about it with our recruits that, you don't want to step on campus and be the best player on the team. And you don't want to step on campus and not have a shot to play. You want to step on campus, have a chance to progress as a player, have an opportunity to play as a youngster. And if you're not, they're going to be able to develop you over the next 2, 3, 4 years that you're going to be ready by the time you're a junior to go play professional baseball, which should be everyone's goal. Because if it's not, they're not going to work as hard as we need them to be while they're here for our program to get where we want it to be.
I'm with you on that. So now let me get back to another question, because, you're talking about development and coaching. So you were a catcher, a really good catcher. You played pro ball for the D-Rays, played at Providence, I think a Big East first-teamer guy. Why do so many catchers make such good coaches?
Well, one, I think it's because we're a little bit more patient, and I think it's because we're patient with pitchers, because we have to deal with them on a regular basis, so we kind of know their mindset. But I think the big thing too is we see the game in front of us, where everybody else has the game behind them, if that makes sense.
It does.
We,
Field general.
yeah, we know what the shortstop has to do. We know where the second baseman has to be. We know where the first baseman needs to be on a cut and relay. We know every pick play. We know every first and third rundown. And then, and it's not, I don't want to say this wrong, but I think we are listening to the most too. We listen to hitting coaches. We listen to head coaches. We're listening to pitching coaches. We're listening to all the different coaches rather than a shortstop just listens to his infield coach and his hitting coach. You know, we are getting four different four different voices, and we got to take it all in as a catcher. So, you know, I just think we are able to get a lot of different perspectives of the game when we were players, and it helps us navigate what we're going. For instance, I got into this coaching thing, and I became a pitching coach right off the bat. As an assistant coach for 16 years, I was never pitched a day in my life, but had been around enough pitching coaches and listened to what they were talking about.
Sure.
I was always learning, but I felt comfortable covering the basics. And then obviously with studying and listening to other better coaches, was able to help myself and help the players that I was supporting reach their goals as well.
That's cool. Learning over time. I mean, that's such an important part of what kids
Still
can
doing
even
it.
do today. Yeah, still learning.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so let's quickly, because this is our Stay Ready campaign. So the kids at home watching out there, and even coaches of teams who are watching this,
Yep.
what do you tell them? Like, how do you motivate them to learn and get better?
Well, first thing, anything's better than nothing, right? So if they're doing any type of workout, if they're doing any type of exercise, it's better than sitting on your Xbox and playing MLB The Show, all right? But whether it's picking up a basketball and going and playing a basketball game, which anyone can do right now in their driveway, wherever it may be. You know, baseball is a little bit tougher of a sport to do by yourself. So, you know, whether it's getting a bucket of balls, throwing it, hitting off a tee, you know, you're talking to a guy that grew up in Boston that used a construction cone and a quilt in his basement as a tee and a net. I was the youngest of five, and my brother and I used to a construction cone, if you go look at it, is the perfect height as a tee. It works. But everyone can go steal a tee off of I-95 or I-40, a construction cone, and it's the perfect height for a tee. You know, so we can make that work. It's just getting them out there to do something. As far as learning, you know, I watched the 1977 Yankees game the other night on ESPN News or whatever it was, and watched Willie Randolph and the Dodgers play, and Steve Garvey was at first. And man, it's a different game to watch, but it's still a baseball game. And you know, sometimes it's going back to the basics and just watching. So, and nowadays with all this technology, you know, there's a lot of different things being said on Instagram. You know, myself are on it right now, but it's listening to everyone and taking what works best for you as an individual player. I mean, everyone can learn from somebody, from everybody. It's just figuring out what works best for you. You know, you can't drink the Kool-Aid from one guy on Monday and then a different guy on Tuesday and try to make it all work. You just got to pick what little segments work best for you as a player.
Yep, I like that. That's good stuff right there. I'm interested to see how many kids are going to start taking hacks off of a construction cone.
Well, make sure you have the quilt in front of it.
Yeah, there you go.
Right in front of the concrete wall.
Hit into the quilt off the construction cone.
There you go. Yep.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about. I want to touch on the school, the location, Asheville. I looked online. Your campus is beautiful. What a beautiful place in those hills out there in North Carolina.
Yeah. The city of Asheville itself it's amazing. It's gorgeous. It's a destination spot. You know, this is where a lot of people on the East Coast come to vacation because we got the lakes, the mountains. You know, we are considered the beer capital of the world right now, or of the country. Wow. We just took it over. I think we got 38 breweries right now in the city of Asheville. You know, we were ranked the #1 coolest city in America 2 years ago and the #1 trendiest city in America last year. So it's up and coming. There's a lot to do. if you like outdoors, if you like mountain biking, if you like fishing, if you like floating the river, whatever it may be, you got to do it outdoors though. This is the place to be. We went and we did the Gorges State Park on Saturday with my boys and did some swimming in a little watering hole in a river that we've never been to before. But and it's all free. You just got to be willing to hike 1.5 miles in. So we are known for our food and our outdoor living here. So it's a great place to live. And then the city or the university, we are in a rare place. We are one of the top public liberal arts universities in the country. We're actually number 7 public liberal arts universities in the country. So we're high academic. And what people don't realize is the number 1, 2, and 3 public liberal arts universities in the country are West Point, Air Force, and the Naval Academy. Wow. All right. So we are in those categories as far as our academics. And that's why I kind of got drawn here coming from Boston College and the Navy. It's the higher academic university. So, it's a great place to live. It's a great place to go to college. And like I said earlier, Brian, if we can get a guy to campus and sit down with us and tour the campus, we got a great chance of getting them because we're a little gem in the mountains that not many people know about.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a fun place to come and play. And even, it's a lot of the time it's a parent, too, who wants to send their kids somewhere. So
yeah.
You got it all for the player and the parents can come have a good time.
Absolutely. So we're excited. And then, we're now able to sell our Easton deal with our recruits, which we've never had before. And for our, to be able to tell a recruit that we can treat them like a Power 5 player in the sense of they all get their own bats, they all get their own gloves, they get their own catcher's equipment, and we can treat you guys exactly like you would be treated if you went to, I'll say UNC or Clemson because they're right in our backyard. That's a huge advantage when they step into our locker room and they can see each guy has their own bat and their own glove and it's, customized for them. We can't thank you and Greg Barton is our rep. We can't thank you guys enough for everything you're doing for us. It is a game changer as far as recruiting when we think we find the right person as far as what's important to them and their competitiveness. And then they see that and it's on top of it. We have a great chance with it. So thank you guys for what you do.
Hey, you got it, man. We love to partner with people like you, and you've got a great plan. It's what I ask a lot of guys, like, what is your recipe for success? And you just nailed it right there. Like those 3 to 4 things that you just rattled off, that's your recipe for success. And the program was doing great before, the end of the season this year. So keep that sucker going into 2021.
Absolutely. And if we can get, a couple of these seniors that we think we're going to get back and then include the freshmen coming in, we're very excited where this program is going and the leadership of our athletic director and the support she's given us over the last 3 months has been outstanding. So we're excited where we're going.
And I saw, and quickly, prior to the last couple questions, yep. I know that you guys just got brand new dugouts on the field, so you're making improvements to Greenwood Field. I mean, that's probably the last step. You beautify that, and you're good.
Yeah, the playing surface itself, when we got here 5 years ago, was what we took care of first. And our playing surface now is one of the best in the Big South and one of the best around. And that's coming from other coaches, not us, that come into play. And over the last 3 years, we've gotten a new outfield wall, new scoreboards, new protective netting, new dugouts. So the next thing, we have 2 more projects coming, and one is a smaller stadium. We don't need 4,000 to 5,000 seat stadium. That's not what we are. We're not Clemson. We need something for about 1,000 people where it's nice and cozy and comfy, yep. and still create a home field advantage for us. And then we're going to be able to put a roof over our batting cages as well. So our athletic director is still on board with all of those. Obviously everybody in the country has taken a little bit of hit lately financially. But when she still talks about what's next as far as projects, that can also help with the alumni and creating money for the university, and she understands that. So we're very excited about not only where the team is going, but where the facility is going as well.
Scott, I've had a great time talking to you, man. You've got a lot of
Likewise.
Baseball knowledge. I love it. Your vision is very unique, and it's cool, and I think players would be happy to come play for you out there in Asheville.
We'd love to have them, and I would be remiss if I didn't, again, say thank you to you guys, but I also want to say thank you to our assistant coaches, Chris Bresnahan, Kyle Ward, and Brad Giroux, who do all the heavy lifting behind the scenes, and without them, this program wouldn't be where it is. And thank you to those guys, and thank you again to Easton for what you guys do.
It takes an army, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. Stay ready, stay safe, and get back on the field.
Likewise. Good luck to you, man. We'll
Okay,
talk to you
bye.
soon.